Love is complex, and relationships can sometimes become challenging to navigate. Today we're exploring signs that might indicate your partner's love has faded. Relationships thrive on mutual respect, trust, and affection, but when these diminish, it can be hard to ignore. When communication fades in a relationship, it's often one of the most telling signs that love and emotional connection may be eroding. Communication is essential for expressing needs, resolving conflicts, sharing joys, and maintaining a healthy emotional bond. When partners genuinely care for each other, they naturally seek to share their thoughts, listen attentively, and create a safe space for openness. However, when one person loses interest or affection, communication is often one of the first things to deteriorate. A partner who no longer loves you may begin to avoid conversations altogether, dismissing or deflecting when topics of importance are brought up. They may give short, evasive answers or become visibly irritated when asked questions, creating an environment where meaningful dialogue is nearly impossible. This avoidance can be a sign that they're unwilling to invest energy in maintaining the relationship or addressing underlying issues that may need attention. They might, for example, ignore attempts to discuss future plans, dodge questions about their feelings, or refuse to engage in conversations that once brought you closer together. Additionally, someone who has fallen out of love may stop sharing personal experiences, goals, or emotions, making the relationship feel increasingly distant and superficial. This withdrawal creates a sense of isolation, as one partner feels they no longer truly know what the other is thinking or feeling. They may also become selective with the information they share, limiting conversations to mundane topics or logistical matters rather than personal thoughts, dreams, or challenges. This shift can be hurtful, leaving the other partner feeling excluded, undervalued, and unimportant. In a relationship built on love, both partners feel comfortable sharing their vulnerabilities. They seek to be open, honest, and emotionally available. However, when communication stops, misunderstandings and resentment can build up, making the relationship feel tense and emotionally taxing. Conflicts that were once solvable through open dialogue can turn into unresolved issues, further driving a wedge between the two partners. Ultimately, a lack of communication signals a breakdown in connection, trust, and emotional investment. It's a warning sign that the partner may no longer feel the need to work together through challenges or share their life in the way they once did. This silence, over time, often erodes the foundation of the relationship, creating a space where intimacy and understanding are replaced by doubt and loneliness. In this silence, the love that once held the relationship together may begin to fade away entirely, leaving both partners feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. When love fades, criticism and blame can become prominent, shifting from healthy feedback to persistent negativity. In a loving relationship, constructive criticism is often meant to help one another grow, with a foundation of respect and kindness. However, when one partner starts to constantly criticize or blame the other, it reveals an underlying frustration or disconnection, often indicating that the love, empathy, or admiration that once bonded them is no longer as strong. Constant criticism usually points out flaws, faults, or behaviors in a way that feels less like support and more like a personal attack. For example, a partner might start to nitpick on small issues or shortcomings, criticizing how their partner speaks, dresses, handles tasks, or even manages daily routines. These criticisms often seem minor, but can feel relentless, creating a feeling of inadequacy or insecurity. Over time, this pattern of constant disapproval can damage self-esteem, as the criticized partner starts feeling as though they can never do anything right or meet their partner's standards. This type of criticism is not about helping the other grow, rather, it's about undermining their confidence, often as a way to mask their own disinterest or dissatisfaction with the relationship. Blame, on the other hand, shifts responsibility for problems onto the other partner, casting them as the source of conflict or failure. For example, if issues arise whether small, like forgetting a chore, or significant, like a financial setback, the partner who has lost affection might quickly place all responsibility on their significant other. This can make the other person feel solely accountable for the relationship's struggles, leading to guilt and frustration. A partner who loves you will generally try to find shared solutions, take joint responsibility for challenges, and work through issues together. But a partner who's lost interest often avoids self-reflection, choosing instead to assign blame as a way to disengage from the problem and from the relationship. Criticism and blame can also take on an emotional tone, diminishing a person's worth and value in the relationship. The loved partner might feel belittled, hurt, or even emotionally threatened. Instead of hearing constructive feedback, they feel personally attacked, as if their character or intentions are being questioned. Over time, this repeated criticism and fault-finding create an emotionally unsafe environment where one partner feels on edge, walking on eggshells to avoid triggering more criticism. The relationship begins to lack the warmth and safety essential to genuine love. Ultimately, constant criticism and blame create a cycle of negativity that replaces positive, affirming interactions with a pattern of emotional distance. This erodes trust and mutual respect, leaving one partner feeling unappreciated and unloved. The emotional toll of facing daily criticism can be overwhelming, causing the criticized partner to feel disconnected and unhappy. And for the partner who initiates the criticism, this pattern often reflects deeper dissatisfaction and a shift away from their initial commitment to the relationship. When a relationship reaches this stage, it's crucial to recognize that these patterns of criticism and blame aren't signs of love, they're signs of disconnection. A lack of kindness and appreciation damages the foundation of respect and empathy needed to sustain a loving relationship, signaling that it may be time for a deeper conversation or even a re-evaluation of the relationship's future. Emotional and physical withdrawal in a relationship is often one of the most painful and telling signs that love has faded. In a healthy, loving relationship, partners seek to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. They want to be emotionally present and physically close to one another. However, when one partner begins to withdraw emotionally or physically, it signals that their emotional investment is diminishing and the connection they once had is weakening. Emotional withdrawal is typically marked by a noticeable detachment or lack of responsiveness. A partner who is emotionally checked out will often become less engaged in conversations, offering superficial responses or avoiding deep, meaningful exchanges altogether. They may stop initiating conversations or showing interest in their partner's life, leaving the other person feeling neglected or alone. Over time, this emotional distance creates a vacuum in the relationship, where one partner feels like they're speaking to a stranger rather than someone they once deeply connected with. Emotional withdrawal often goes hand in hand with a lack of empathy, as the partner who is retreating may no longer respond to their significant other's emotional needs or struggles. They may no longer comfort, support, or validate their partner's feelings, making the relationship feel cold and distant. This emotional detachment can also manifest as a lack of affection. Partners who are emotionally withdrawn stop expressing love in ways they once did, whether through words of affirmation, acts of kindness, or tender gestures. Hugging, kissing, or simply sitting close together may cease to occur. These small, yet significant acts of affection are what help maintain intimacy in a relationship. When they disappear, it's a sign that the emotional bond has weakened significantly. The person who is withdrawing might feel numb, indifferent, or even resentful, and they may no longer prioritize the well-being of the relationship, focusing instead on their own emotions or disengagement. In some cases, emotional withdrawal is accompanied by physical withdrawal. Physical closeness, such as touch, eye contact, or simply spending time together, can significantly decrease. A partner who has lost their affection might stop initiating physical contact, avoiding closeness at all costs. They may no longer want to engage in intimate moments, whether emotionally or sexually, and even when they are physically present, they may feel emotionally distant. This physical absence, whether in the form of avoiding physical intimacy or simply spending more time apart, amplifies the emotional distance between partners. The impact of this withdrawal can be devastating for the partner who is still emotionally invested. They often feel rejected, ignored, and unimportant. This sense of abandonment can create a deep sense of loneliness, even when their partner is still physically around. They may try to reach out, seeking comfort or connection, but if their partner continues to withdraw, they may begin to doubt their own worth or question what went wrong. Emotional withdrawal not only damages the bond between partners but also undermines trust, as it can make the partner who is still engaged feel as though they are no longer valued or loved. Sometimes, physical or emotional withdrawal is a defense mechanism. It may be an unconscious response to a feeling of frustration, resentment, or fear. The partner who is withdrawing may feel overwhelmed by unresolved conflicts, disappointment, or a fear of further emotional harm. They might retreat as a way to protect themselves from the vulnerability of being open or hurt. However, this only worsens the situation, as it leaves the other person in the dark without answers, feeling increasingly disconnected and unsure of where they stand in the relationship. Ultimately, emotional and physical withdrawal is a powerful indicator that a partner is no longer fully invested in the relationship. It signals a loss of connection, intimacy, and affection, and can create a profound sense of distance and sadness for both partners. This withdrawal often doesn't happen overnight. It is typically the result of ongoing dissatisfaction, emotional disengagement, or an inability to address underlying issues in the relationship. When this pattern becomes consistent, it's clear that the emotional foundation of the relationship is crumbling. For a relationship to survive, it's essential for both partners to engage in open, honest communication, to nurture emotional closeness, and to work toward rebuilding the intimacy that once brought them together. Without addressing emotional or physical withdrawal, the relationship risks further isolation and disconnection, and ultimately the complete breakdown of the bond. Disregard for your well-being in a relationship is one of the most painful and clear indicators that a partner's love has diminished or vanished. Love is inherently about care, respect, and empathy. It's about showing concern for each other's emotional, physical, and mental health. When a partner stops showing this level of care, it signals a deep shift in the dynamics of the relationship. Disregard for your well-being can manifest in many subtle and overt ways, but in all cases, it stems from a lack of genuine investment or compassion for the other person. One of the most significant ways disregard for your well-being shows up is in a lack of support during difficult times. A loving partner is someone who stands by you when life gets tough, offering comfort and encouragement during moments of stress, grief, or personal struggle. However, when your partner no longer cares about your challenges or emotional needs, they may ignore your pleas for support, minimize your feelings, or fail to acknowledge the difficulties you are facing. For instance, if you're going through a tough time at work or dealing with a family crisis, a partner who no longer loves you may show no interest in your situation. They might be dismissive, telling you to get over it or deal with it on your own. This lack of empathy leaves you feeling abandoned and unsupported, which can heighten feelings of loneliness and isolation within the relationship. Another sign of disregard for your well-being is when your physical and emotional health is ignored. A partner who once cared deeply about your health might stop reminding you to take care of yourself, fail to notice when you're struggling, or be indifferent when you experience illness or emotional exhaustion. This can range from neglecting to ask how you're feeling when you're sick, to refusing to make sacrifices that would improve your overall well-being, such as helping with chores when you're overwhelmed or taking time to care for your mental health. In relationships where love exists, both partners tend to look out for each other's needs. They show concern if one is physically exhausted, mentally strained, or emotionally fragile. But if your partner disregards your well-being, it can feel as though your health or happiness is not their priority anymore. Disregard for your well-being can also manifest in actions that actively harm your mental or emotional health. A partner who no longer loves you may engage in behaviors that undermine your self-esteem or emotional stability. They may engage in manipulative tactics, like gaslighting, which make you doubt your perceptions, feelings, or sanity. They might also fail to acknowledge or validate your emotions, belittling your feelings or dismissing your concerns. This constant emotional invalidation can erode your sense of self-worth and leave you questioning whether your needs and desires are even worthy of respect. The result is a toxic dynamic where one partner's emotional needs are consistently ignored or dismissed. Another form of disregard can occur in the way your partner treats your personal boundaries. Healthy relationships rely on mutual respect for each other's limits, whether they are emotional, physical, or otherwise. A partner who disregards your well-being might push you beyond your comfort zone, not respecting your boundaries in discussions, physical intimacy, or time commitments. They may pressure you into situations that make you uncomfortable, ignore your need for space, or violate your personal values and needs, all in the name of convenience or personal desire. This blatant disregard for your autonomy shows that their respect and care for you are no longer priorities, which can create a power imbalance in the relationship. In a healthy relationship, both partners are attentive to the emotional and psychological well-being of the other. When a partner stops prioritizing your well-being, whether through neglect, harmful actions, or indifference, it often means that they no longer value or respect the bond you share. They may no longer care about your happiness, your emotional growth, or your overall health, both physical and mental. This is incredibly painful to experience, especially if you are still emotionally invested in the relationship, as it feels as though you're no longer seen as an equal or important part of their life. Ultimately, a partner who disregards your well-being does not only fail to show affection and care, they actively contribute to your emotional hurt. A relationship based on true love and mutual respect thrives on empathy, understanding, and mutual care. Without these, the foundation of the relationship crumbles, and it can be incredibly difficult for the partner who is still invested to continue in a situation where their needs are no longer met and their well-being is compromised. When love is no longer present, the bond weakens, leaving one partner to feel abandoned, unseen, and unimportant. In a healthy, loving relationship, spending quality time together is one of the most fundamental ways to nurture the bond between partners. It's through shared experiences, conversations, and moments of connection that couples deepen their understanding and affection for one another. When a partner stops making an effort to spend quality time with you, it signifies a profound shift in their emotional investment and interest in the relationship. The absence of effort to prioritize and create meaningful moments together can be an undeniable sign that love has faded or been replaced by apathy. Quality time in a relationship isn't simply about being in the same space together, it's about being emotionally present and engaged with one another. This includes deep conversations, laughter, and showing interest in each other's lives, goals, and struggles. However, when a partner is no longer invested in the relationship, they may stop making an effort to plan activities, engage in meaningful conversations, or connect on a deeper emotional level. Instead, they may prioritize their own interests, hobbies, or work commitments, leaving little to no time for their partner. In such cases, the relationship begins to feel one-sided, where one person is actively contributing to the connection, while the other is emotionally distant or unavailable. A partner who no longer loves you might also stop initiating or showing enthusiasm for activities that you once enjoyed together. Whether it's going out for a date night, watching a favorite show, cooking together, or simply going for a walk, these once cherished rituals might no longer seem important to them. The lack of initiative to create these special moments can make the other partner feel neglected, as though their emotional needs are no longer a priority. This shift often stems from a lack of desire to connect or a disengagement from the relationship's emotional depth. When quality time is no longer a priority, even the time spent together can feel hollow. It's common for couples to spend time together physically but remain emotionally or mentally absent. A partner who is emotionally disconnected may sit next to you while scrolling on their phone, watching TV without conversation, or participating in activities without any real engagement. These interactions can feel surface level and can contribute to a growing sense of disconnection. Without meaningful moments of shared connection, the relationship starts to feel more like a cohabitation or a mere arrangement rather than a loving partnership. In some cases, the lack of effort to spend quality time can manifest as excuses or avoidance. The partner who has checked out may begin to make excuses for why they can't spend time with you, whether it's due to work, social obligations, or personal fatigue. While everyone needs their own space or time for personal pursuits, it becomes concerning when this avoidance becomes a pattern. If the partner seems unwilling to make any sacrifices or prioritize the relationship over other commitments, it indicates that the relationship is no longer a priority for them. They might even begin to subtly or overtly push you away, opting to spend their free time with friends, colleagues, or on activities that don't include you. When there's no effort to spend quality time, it can also impact the emotional intimacy in the relationship. One of the key aspects of growing closer to a partner is the ability to share your thoughts, dreams, and vulnerabilities during these shared moments. But when these opportunities for emotional connection are no longer valued, the relationship begins to lack depth. Conversations become more superficial, and it becomes difficult to truly understand each other's emotions, needs, and desires. Over time, this lack of intimacy creates a growing emotional distance that is hard to bridge. The absence of quality time is often coupled with feelings of loneliness and isolation for the partner who is still invested in the relationship. You may feel as though you're trying to keep the connection alive by yourself, while your partner's lack of effort leaves you emotionally drained and yearning for attention. This disparity can lead to a sense of resentment and frustration, as one partner feels neglected and unappreciated. The longer the effort to spend quality time is absent, the more disheartened the partner who still cares may become, ultimately leading them to question the relationship's future and whether their emotional needs are ever going to be met. Without quality time, relationships can lose their sense of closeness, companionship, and shared joy. Love thrives on connection, and without that consistent effort to be present and emotionally engaged, the relationship begins to fade. When a partner stops making an effort to spend time with you, it often reflects a deeper emotional withdrawal or dissatisfaction. For a relationship to thrive, both partners need to feel valued, loved, and prioritized. If one partner ceases to make time for the other, it signals that their emotional investment has waned, and the bond that once held them together is weakening. This lack of quality time can be a silent but powerful signal that the relationship is no longer fulfilling or meaningful in the way it once was. Time is one of the most meaningful gifts in a relationship. When a partner no longer makes an effort to spend time with you, it may indicate they've mentally checked out. Love thrives in shared experiences, and a lack of interest in being together can reveal an emotional disconnect. This lack of investment can show that the relationship is no longer their priority. In conclusion, love isn't just about grand gestures, it's about consistency, mutual respect, and shared effort. If you notice these signs persistently in your relationship, it may be time to reflect on whether your partner's feelings have changed. Relationships are a two-way street, and when one side no longer invests, it's essential to address these concerns openly to find clarity and, ultimately, peace.